Well, welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. We are here at the flagship Microsoft store in New York, live from the Mixer NYC studio. And we are continuing on with the action here between Space Soldiers and NaVi as they both fight for a spot in EPL. We're about to go on to our second map. It's going to be Mirage. Gentlemen, how do we think the change to Mirage is going to change this matchup?
I mean, this is a map that I would say does favor Space Soldiers a little bit more. It's not really one of NaVi's staple maps, but it is NaVi, so, I mean, what can you really say about that? Just looking at the last year for them on the map, it was probably one of their weaker maps, and they barely have played it in the last 3 months at all. So I'm actually kind of surprised they let it through, but at the same point in time, I understand the ban phase that came in. So, I mean, there's a chance for Space Soldiers, but it's a slim chance, especially with the way that first map ended and the way they were kind of clearly upset based on losing the end of MDL, getting second place, and then losing that first map as well.
Yeah, I definitely think going on to a map like Mirage, we're going to see NaVi take control tactically towards that middle area, a lot slower play from them. I know even on their T-side of Inferno, they were playing a little bit more fast-paced. People were a little bit more free, going for the picks that they wanted. But here on Mirage, I could see the mid-control being like a crucial part of everything. I mean, it generally is on Mirage. You want the top mid smoke, you want the window smoke. But I can see NaVi really going for that mid-control, falling back into executes, and just keeping that game plan towards the end, rather than what they did on the last map when they went up 8-0, was playing a little bit more free and just letting it go. I could see them tightening up and not giving Space Soldiers that chance to come back into it.
Mark, how about you? Do you think that there's going to be any issues that may arise if we start to see that overconfident playstyle come back from NaVi?
I mean, potentially to a certain degree, but even still, just looking at them individually, player for player, pound for pound, they outskill Space Soldiers for the most part. I mean, you do have a couple shining stars for Space Soldiers, but they're also players that struggled throughout MDL, and now they're matched up against a much more difficult opponent. So you're talking about two teams of a different scale, in my opinion, and I think that NaVi should have an easy time closing this one out.
All right, well, it seems pretty clear from this point, but let's make it official. Let's try to get some predictions onto the table. E-Mode, we'll leave it to you first. So I think I've got a pretty good idea about what Bach wants to pick.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say NaVi 16-7, just because I feel like they're going to be even more tighter on this map. They're not going to give Space Soldiers that breathing room that they gave them on Inferno.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I was going to say 16-8, 16-9, somewhere in there, so right around that range.
All right, cool. Here's what the Betway odds have to say now about this matchup. It's after the first map, of course, and still looking pretty confident for NaVi right
Those
there.
got worse.
So
This got way worse.
I'd say that's a pretty safe bet for them. Well, like we said, guys, the match is going to be starting a little bit. We should have our casters standing by now, and I believe we can bring them into the conversation as they get ready to bring this match to us. Now, Launders and Moses, you guys there?
Hey.
Nope. We're not.
All right. Okay. Well, back to the discussion.
Signs of life.
You guys take the match. You guys enjoy it.
Saw those odds and almost just left the building.
Yeah.
That's pretty harsh.
It is harsh. I think that it's updated so that you can bet for the match. You can bet as it goes on, but it's like a prorated amount, something like that. I
wouldn't know how those things operate.
You don't bet, neither do I. I'm not a betting man myself, but yeah, I mean, I'd probably just skip it if it's going to be odd like that, you know, because I'm not sure I'd bet on Space Soldiers, but I actually think that this map will be closer than Inferno.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think the big thing is going to be, can Space Soldiers not bleed out 9 rounds before they start playing the game? I think that's the big thing. You can't just spawn a team like NaVi 9 rounds and then expect to be able to come back into it. So a better start for Space Soldiers, obviously likely to yield better results because they just got smashed to start out that first game. And the crazy thing is, I mean, we saw the T sides on Inferno be more impactful than the CT side. So if that trend continues, how is this offense going to start out? It looks like Space Soldiers might be starting on the T side. They could have a chance of getting out, you know, taking advantage of maybe a weaker defense from NaVi.
Mirage is an interesting map because it's really big, but people have been playing it like I think for so long now. It's like the oldest not changed map that we have.
It was the first one that was reinvented, right?
That's probably a better way to put it. Yeah, it's like the first custom or whatever. So it's, you know, it's a map that people are so used to playing. The meta has been developed so much to the point that it's actually almost become simple, even though there's like so much to it. So with that level of comfortability, T side has become a little bit easier, I think, where it used to be a nightmare and people were scared to take mid and so on. But now there's so many safe ways to do it and control the pace of the round that there are many options for you. There's a lot of like fast individual play options as well. I mean, on top of your Rush B, you have like one person who can work Palace by himself.
Yep.
You can do A-ramp plays, and then you can do connector splits, fast connector splits, which Space Soldiers do that are really fun and really quick too.
I'm excited. I hope we get to see more of the AWPs come out. We didn't get to see, I mean, obviously Inferno's not a map necessarily known for it, especially on the T side, but we saw Simple pick it up that one round on the T side, didn't really do anything with it and went away. Neither team on CT side was able to build up any kind of economy to consistently have the op out. Here on Mirage, you'd expect that'd be a main focal point of your defense and your offense, is having someone pick up that weapon. Simple, one of the best players in the world of 2017, obviously a very exciting player to watch with any weapon in his hand, but specifically the AWP can do things that no one else can with it. Electronic is going to be playing in the window, and Edward's going to be on catwalk. This is a nice stack for NaVi over towards the B bomb site. This is going to be difficult for Space Soldiers. They still haven't cleared out Simple in this position. He's going to get one and finds a third. He dominates all of them. 3 quick headshots. Looked like he was going to fall surely, but he pulls out another miracle.
The kid. That was insane. You wouldn't be able to tell that he's got like a really high sensitivity too.
Does he?
Yeah, it's like 3 point. It's above 3, which I think that's high territory. And sometimes like people criticize his crosshair placement, but if you watch his demos, you'll notice that he really just doesn't bother with angles if he doesn't feel like someone's there. And he just has such good game sense that he's he's skipping over a lot of stuff, and it makes it look kind of like lazy, I guess. But he's almost never wrong.
Listen, I can't believe he got that 3rd kill. That's unreal.
Yeah.
That's what I think it was his last bullet in the clip as well. So nice performance from him. And either way, even if he didn't get those 3, it was going to be a tough affair for Space Soldiers. A good read from NaVi. 2 players in the B bomb site, 1 on catwalk. So they had that pretty well locked down. Investment into this from Space Soldiers. Again, 4 players towards the B bomb site. They really want to get past this smoke, but they're going to have to be patient. It's Engine who's bought all nades, probably for that execute over towards over the wall at the B bomb site. Smoke off catwalk, see if you can get in and get a plant down at the very least.
Only really takes 1 smoke to hit this site if you absolutely have to do it. You've still got 1 person over in Palace, but he's not in a position to make presence or jump out into the site and commit. So I don't know if they're going to wait this timer down or if Major's actually going to go back to A ramp or if he's just going to come up late. But he's going to have impact somehow.
Is block off catwalk. The second one comes in as well, so a nice line of smoke. Zeus still on top. They're completely blind, but he can't find any of them. Gets 1, but it took all of his bullets. Here's Edward. He's got to hold it down next, but that's not going to happen whatsoever. The UMP going to work. Simple with an off angle with the M4. Danger's kind of passed in that sense, and there's the lurk from Major having impact. But Simple getting into the action. The bomb still hasn't gone down, and Simple goes forward too far. Flamey now the last one left with an SMG coming up catwalk, and they somehow don't hear him. He ran all the way up, and he's got a 1-on-1. Paz with the CZ has got to buy time. He's picked up the UMP, but it's not going to matter whatsoever. So a scare from Space Soldiers. They've done great economic damage. They get the bomb plant, which is quite nice. And Flamey's going to be able to win anyways. I think he's just searching for any kind of kit he can pick up, but that was close.
It was close. A little bit too close for comfort. I mean, it's, at this point, they'll take the round, but that's pretty funny how they flashed into B-apps and Zeus peeks and sees nobody there as if there was like a rush turned into a surprise party. Everyone were just like hitting their spots and like popped out afterwards. And he was fortunate to even get 1 kill. But the bomb going down is good for Space Soldiers as well. Now this, getting the bomb down in the second round is nice because if you don't hear and you plan on getting on the 3rd, you still are going to think, how much money do I spend right now to make that make sense?
Especially with the 4 kills, that's the big thing for me. Because you look now, there's 3 SMGs out on the board for NaVi again. Simple's going to waste no time getting involved here, even jumping down, going for more. 2 quick headshots and underpass. He does eventually fall to Major, but they can salvage that weapon pretty easily, pretty quickly. This round's going to be over quick, and it's nice for NaVi. They only lose 1 player so far, so at least building up some money behind them. They just have to get the M4 at the end.
So far we split pistols, so it's on the first map at least went 1-1. NaVi pulling up the first pistol in the second map, and it's going to be an important contributing factor to the wins. And I think for an upset to occur, you do have to rely on pistol rounds. At least it's either splitting them or taking both of them. So big deal for NaVi.
Good start up 3-0. Money's bruised. They do have the off out and Simples, and again, aggression in towards mid. That's Electronic. He doesn't realize one's crossed already, and he can't win that initial fight. That's tough to manage when all the flashbangs are coming out. Nade's going to go right behind the boxes, and great damage onto Xantares and Paz down below half HP.
That's a value grenade. They should just charge you an extra $50 out of your bank account to
when it does that much damage?
When it lands, yeah.
And any other way to nerf the HEs, huh? Engine. Simple's got to go with something huge here. It's a 3-on-5. Zeus was the next one to fall, so they're going to be spread thin. That op's got to get into the action, rotating back towards window. Actually out back and going over towards the B bomb site. So a little bit of a, maybe a read, but probably more so a cheat and a gamble than anything. But it's going to pay off here. He's going to be in the right position. There's one kill. Edward chimes in for one more. Simple falls eventually, but Edward's still alive in the bomb site, can stall for time. Major's at low HP. Molotov going to fall into Edward's position, and he wins the fight anyways, and that pretty much seals it. It would have to be something magical from Major. Can't take any damage. Waiting for the peak. 30 seconds left. There it is. Easy headshot, but Flamey trades immediately and picks up the op.
That was a good attempt, and that's a different Edward than we saw in the last round from Bench with the Famas fluffing what looked like a pretty easy spray. So that was a good recovery.
Yes.
And it couldn't have come at a more important time. The first rifle to really shut down any confidence that Space Soldiers might have moving into the first rifle round.
Yeah, but I mean, still, you got to be in this kind of a scenario. If you're Space Soldiers, you're not quite frustrated yet. It's still early on in the half, but you're saying, listen, we've had 2 rounds. Our 2 gun rounds have gotten them down, or I mean, we've had 2 rounds that have just gotten them down to 1 player surviving. So we have their economy in a position where as soon as we win, it's going to get much, much easier. What you have to do is just keep up that kind of a pressure and that success of having just a couple kills here and there. You can't allow NaVi to win a very clean round at this point since you have them so close to breaking. Here comes another hit. Nades out, smokes out. Zeus just waiting patiently. They're going to run right by without checking. Pre-spraying to get a couple more. It's not going to happen. One's in the bomb site causing him trouble. He just drops down to isolate himself from danger. And he's got to get away, but the reinforcements are here. Great shooting from NaVi. 4 players live.
And just as you said, there was a little bit of a pressure there to get, the 2 to 3 kills at least. So that's kind of a damning round here for Space Soldiers. But at the same time, they look forward to a buy, all the grenades they want, and they did that because they got the plants early on to help them out. So a second shot at life.
They really haven't had to deal with Simple's ADBP too much. I mean, the previous round, the first round that Simple had it out, they got 2 kills so early that the op is kind of put into an awkward position. It was only able to get 1 kill on a rotate over towards the B bomb site. So kind of taking a whole lot of damage from that. They now know it's in mid. There's Simple. Now they have to deal with it. He gets the opening kill. Good find for him, and he's going to stay aggressive. Zeus does eventually fall towards the B bomb site, and again, it's on Edward. That pop flash from Major not working out exactly the way he would have liked. And Edward's going to read this very well. The positions he's phenomenal in, but he gets his head taken off. Electronic caught out in the open with 2 targets peeking from windows. Simple's finally gotten here. He's going to try and pull it back into Navi's favor.
Seemed like NaVi were being very proactive. It was working out well. And now it is the 2v2 because of that kill from Flamey. So a viable retake situation. Simple's just going to make sure there's not any late flank to worry about. And Space Soldiers have cut noise. They're low on HP, and with the time, as much time as they have, they can kind of use it to try to either dissuade a rotation or catch someone trying to come back. And here, as Simple patrols between the window and the doorway, they've escaped a scope and will be able to put the bomb down and get good positions. Got all the way to bench, though, as smoke cascades across Simple's screen. He realizes that there's a player to his left and right, and that info will be shared with Flamey.
2 on 2. Good win for Flamey. He's brought down low, and there's Simple with the peek. Major not feeling comfortable in his position behind bench. It looked promising for a moment, but NaVi shuts it down. So a 6th round for them.
That was nice. It felt like Space Soldiers had it, control of the round, but then in that 2v2, they just didn't have a lot of life left over.
NaVi's doing a really good job of being very proactive and aggressive on their rotates. They're getting over to the bomb sites very quickly that are under pressure, and the initial contact is at least taking long enough to allow those rotations to get there. And that's the tough part for Space Soldiers, is even when they have the trades that go to their advantage, they haven't done it fast enough. It hasn't come out clean enough for them to actually take the bomb site in some of those gun rounds, or at least in that previous round. So really nicely done from the defensive NaVi. It was the weak point on Inferno, but here on Mirage, it's looking strong.
The cool thing about Mirage is there's so many different variations of A takes that you can do, that even though mid-control is so viable and T defaults are so viable, you can always come up with a new way to just do a full exec if things aren't working your way.
Well, we'll see how this one goes. 1 player on the balcony. That's going to be Flamey. Wins that fight. Heads up. Calyx now rotating around, but there's the op from Simple chiming in. Electronic falls, and so does Flamey. Good trade. Simple, he has nowhere to go. There's 1 player on catwalk, and he's just trying to peek. He's just trying to get 1 more kill. And it's Edward left in a 1-on-2. Finally, Space Soldiers, the trades work out in their favor, and they get in with enough success to get in the post plant. Edward's going to spot that one player crossing to CT spawn, but obviously has no idea about the other. And I think he's going to choose to give it up.
Yeah, grabs that. Oh, an AK. Okay. Simple's op is over a triple, so yeah, no chance of getting that back. And successful A take. It did look like it could have gone awry because they lost the Palace player, and the Palace player was alone. So Palace control gets taken. A-ramp players have to deal with a crossfire suddenly. But
yep. Well, and also with 3 players there, NaVi played that as like a full commit to defending that bomb site. Once the 2 riflers went down, Simple at triple, like you can spam through the corners. It's so hard to repeat in that situation. Edward going to take 1 down towards the end, but he does get eliminated.
Yeah, there's a great argument, I think, as you're alluding to if you're by yourself playing triple is very irresponsible because once you're spotted, you can just get spammed to death. But because he's there with 2 teammates and they both die, it's kind of like not his fault anymore that he can't win around for them.
It's just the weak point of the defense, I guess. I mean, even if those rifles just get 1 more kill, that's a completely different round for Simple. It's just so much pressure from so many different angles. Tough to do. So there's that execute over towards A you were talking about, and Space Soldiers put a lot of emphasis towards B in the early stages of this half, and have success the first time they go over towards A. So that's where they felt success in their 1 win. Gonna go back to it again. This time it could be a little bit easier. Only 2 players here, Electronic and Flamey. And the op is over towards B, and that's actually partially aggressive in those B halls, so should be passing on information.
They don't have a lot of retake smokes here. Actually, only 1. So depending on how the site take goes.
Yeah, don't have a lot of kits either, so this better be a strong hold. Again, Electronic over at triple. There's the opening kill from Flamey, but he's traded out. How does Electronic manage this one? They haven't spotted him yet. Oh, this is dirty. And he misses the spray, but he recovers in time and stops the bomb plant. Xantares and Paz respond with 2, but the damage is done. Electronic hiding inside the bomb site is a hero. And NaVi respond 7-1 now, and without a plant, Space Soldiers really don't have a whole lot of money to play with.
What a monster. He's got that Nico-esque quality of like, okay, he's dead to rights. He's getting 1 kill max, and then he gets a frag like that just before he completes another as well. And he could have been eliminated. All he had to do was clear him.
Yeah.
All he had to do was clear him, but he really didn't even shoulder peek to give him any sign that he was there.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting that he didn't whatsoever, because he had a pretty decent crossfire set up with Flamey underneath the balcony. He could have peeked out and tried to kind of take that fight when they're all in that choke point, but
maybe he should have.
I think maybe Flamey just died too quick for him to really go for it. Regardless, it works out. Op is in Simple's hands again. And even though Space Soldiers has mid, where do you go if you only have 1 flashbang?
That's a good question. So many choke points to worry about as well.
And this is what happens when you don't have a spoken connector block off the AWP. It's a shooting gallery. The flicks are beautiful, and Simple showing off here to start his year. 8-1.
That's wonderful. And those shots are particularly impressive because everyone goes and DMs and practices their shots left to right on all these different angles, but the shots like straight up or down.
Look at the
and this is cool, yeah.
That's nice.
That's like stuff, your high school flip book that you can look through while you're in college.
I'm loving it.
Your adventures through Mirage.
And now you're seeing Simple really get into the game, because we've seen him, he was opping over towards B in the previous round. He's been in the window. Now he's in connector that previous round, and now he's back in win. So he's being pretty varied in the different positions he's going. He's playing with that AWP, and we're seeing a little bit of I guess I like calling it the French timeout, the existence timeout. No real investment, just kind of sit and spawn and use a round that you're not really going to win with 5 Glocks anyways, and just talk things over.
It was obviously the existence timeout because he used to do this before there were pauses.
Titan games, yeah.
They would use these Glock saves, which you can always still do. I mean, you get a really extended pause as well, and it's good to see that they're still in it and still thinking about what they should do next. I kind of like I don't know how you feel about it, but I like the approach of do what worked when they went to the A hit again, because they didn't really have another strategy that they knew would work out well. Yeah,
I mean, even the second time, it seemed like it was going to work. They got a good trade on Flamey, just the 1-for-1, and it was just Electronic who kind of pulls some magic out and stops anything else from happening. Zeus going to push up and get aggressive and find 2. Now they've got to get past Edward, but since he's taken so long to get that kill, the rotation is here. Simple's arrived with the op in a big way. Xantares tries to jump across and gets picked out of the sky. Now Electronic is in the window as well. Alex tries to take that fight. Simple's got to be careful. He can get caught. He pulls the CZ out. He gets taken down anyways. That extra half second of pulling out the CZ punishes him. Oh, he can actually do this now into a one-on-one. Electronic is caught, and Flamey now has got to play this smart. 5 seconds left. Calyx is going to go for it, but he's dropped. That got interesting real quick, didn't it?
It did, yeah. That was a sketchy situation. He saw him jump out the window and realized, all right, I have the opportunity to get a duel here, but Flamey was prepared. That was interesting because that was a full Glock save. I mean, that was a right-off round.
Yeah, it really was until the end, until they salvaged the AK and the M4 from Zeus and Edward pushing up to get the information. So, yeah, cool stuff from the Space Soldiers. That's going to help do some damage. They just have to win, right? Look at the aggression up mid now. That's going to be Edward, and he sees nobody. Does he choose to go further? One to the left, one far back to the right. He's spotted out. There's no retreating for Edward here. He wins that battle. Smoke to try and help him get away. Here's the footsteps, and Xanter's pre-fires as Edward swings out to try and go elsewhere. Meanwhile, Simple still just picking 1 or 2 off here or there. The follow-up aggression from Electronic doesn't work, but Flamey, the second op in the double op setup, comes alive. And there's no way they check for Zeus in the window.
Too good of a headshot angle there. Dead Terrace.
It's also just so tough to read that position when there's been so much aggression in mid, right? They've just been throwing bodies at top mid, and you have no clue where to go. You have so much space you still have to gain and recover and clear out.
Options limited. He's got a nade set. He just doesn't have that much health to work with. Palace might offer him up at least like a 1-to-1 duel. And there he is, jumping across his screen. So he knows that the CT guy's probably not got a friend, but he's willing to take the risk even if he does, just because he's got to make it a one-on-one if possible. Smoke goes down, which is, I like the idea there. I mean, the smoke goes down, so, you know, there's always the question, did he cross the triple? Can I hold this for how long? Maybe if he delayed the jump a little bit, that could have worked in his favor. But Simple is just so aware.
I mean, it would even be cool to see if Simple was like looking at the smoke and just flicked up, or if he was waiting for that jump whatsoever. Either way, Simple with his op is now making his mark on this game. He's been a beast with that weapon. So 10-to-1, Space Soldiers don't seem to have too much of an answer for it. I'm gonna buy into this. AK's coming out on Xanter's. Same with Paz. Same with Calyx. The rest CZ and Major has the UMP, so not the best buy in the world, missing some utility on 2 players. But a chance now.
Yeah, not thinking too much about their future selves right now, just because they're at the point...
They need rounds,
don't
they?
They need rounds, right? It's at a certain point, you just need rounds. And also at a certain point, you realize that maybe it's not how much money we have that's the main problem, if we're not getting rounds at all. And you think, all right, well, we just got to give ourselves more chances to win. We'll see what they do. They do have enough utility to like pull something off together. They can't, you know, the problem when you don't have this much utility is you can't play a long, drawn-out round with like tons of map control, because if you go mid, you're going to need 3 smokes just to get control of it.
Molotov doesn't come out in time. They're able to get past it. Now they know exactly where Zeus is. I think he had more faith in the flames than he should have, and Paz wraps around the bomb site. It's Flamey here with the op, but the rest of the action is going towards A. This was a fake, and Electronic is destroying it. 2 kills, can't react in time for the 3rd, but it's going to be Simple coming up who can stop the plant, and Major doesn't even go for it. So 45 seconds left. He does have the bomb. He's got 1 flash and a Molotov. And he somehow worked his way into a pocket of safety. But those footsteps are going to be heard, and Simple's going to go towards CT spawn. I don't think that flashbang is going to be as aggressive or as effective as he likes, but it works. So he's going to get the plant. Nice job from Major to give himself an opportunity here.
Yeah, that was cool. Space Soldiers member putting on his moon boots right now. Shooting for the stars.
Well, he's got 2 ops to go against. Not the best weaponry for retake, so perhaps a chance. And Flamey and Simple going to play together. Smoke still blocking off Catwalk, so they haven't started just yet. And now they move up, one covering the other. It's Simple leading the way. They don't know where Major is quite yet. He wants to pick off one as they cross into the site to make things easier. They're going to peek the window. He misses the shot. That's not good. Now 2 ops can zone in at the choke point, but he's got the bomb planted for him. Ooh. Sprays down 1. Simple's just got to get on it. There's no time to mess around anymore. That smoke's not deep enough. Major's done it. He's won the round, and he's actually even trying to play with Simple, and he gets it. The taps to end things. And even though he falls, it's a glorious death.
He was 2 steps ahead and 3 aware. What a player. That was great. Oh, man. That was an excellent clutch. I mean, every single move he made, he was fully aware of where both his opponents were, and even in that 1vx situation with the op, he dodged the shot with the round 1. That was pretty sick, man.
I couldn't even believe he got out of that situation towards going through the murder hole.
Yeah.
I thought Simple was for sure going to pick him off. Flashbang must have hit him pretty hard in the face. Now you're seeing the arsenal for NaVi is a bit beaten up with Famas's, and Santerre's going to take the opportunity to get 2 kills. Electronic and Simple are still here, though. Simple with the scout. Zeus doesn't want to come through this smoke, but he is going to walk into it, waiting for it to fade as Simple reconvenes. Surely not this round. There's no kits on either player, and Zeus has been spotted out. Simple with the scout can't get anything done, and I think Space Soldiers have done it.
Yeah, they have this sealed up. And again, it kind of a late half comeback, if you will, with the potential for 5 rounds instead of 4, which is nice.
Again, I mean, it happened on Inferno as well, right? Like, it was a huge lead for NaVi, and all of a sudden we saw Space Soldiers finally, I don't know if they necessarily figured it out, but they started at least getting some rounds on the board to make things possible into the second half. So again, Space Soldiers looking like they can make this at least respectable as well.
5's not unlosable. Unwinnable? Unlosable? Something like that.
Unlosable. I like it. Well, they'll definitely have an easier time this round because it's looking like it's going to be that scout on Simple, some upgraded pistols, as NaVi have finally run out of money. They've been forced to save.
Yeah, but the lifestyle creep is in. Like, we got to spend something. I'm not used to this. I don't like these broken buys. And they'll still have a chance to win, even albeit small.
Simple needs to get at least some tags. 1 kill would be great. The Deagle not able to get anything done on Flamey. Electronic even spamming through. Look at the HP though. Everyone's so low, they just can't find any of the kills. That's a bit unfortunate for NaVi. 4 players from Space Soldiers just bleeding, but no deaths coming out. I guess here you're kind of in the mindset of let's just get some AKs.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It would be nice.
What's the threshold for when you pick up an AK over and out for a teammate? How much money do you have to justify that?
Wait, what do you mean? Like,
You know,
if there's
like
an
you-
AWP on the floor and an AK?
And an AK. Your teammate needs an op, just last alive, but you've won a few rounds in a row. Like you guys have enough money to buy that op again.
Depends on who it is, you know?
Depends on who it is. Yeah, we could go down the list of former teammates and really just.
Yeah, just there's certain teammates you have
some
where he's like, "Hey,
examples.
get me that op," and you're like, "No,
What
I
if
want
it's,
the AK."
What if it's Henry G?
I'd get Henry the op.
You get Henry the op.
I would definitely get Henry the op.
Okay, I mean you're
Well,
opening up
you
a can of
know,
worms here by agreeing to that,
it's-
because then I could just pull out another name, contrast it.
Let's do it.
Put you in an
Who
awkward.
you got? You won't put me in an awkward spot.
I can't put you in an awkward spot.
Yeah.
James Bardolph.
No, James Bardolph is. No.
Wait, is that because it's James Bardolph? because he's not an opper, or is it because?
It's a mixture of both.
Oh.
Listen, have you seen
Truly
his clips on
savage.
Reddit
I
recently?
appreciate the honesty.
Well, smoke up into halls. Alex is going to try and beat it, but he doesn't get out quick enough. It plumes, probably obscures his vision at the last moment. Easy kill for Flamey. I think part of it is Bardolph knifed me in a show match.
Ooh, so it's personal. a little
And
bit.
there's that's definitely a factor. That's a good lurk through smoke. And he's taking control of the A bomb site for his team, and he just has to wait here. Well, the defense, as the smoke fades, he's got to reconsider towards the jungle. The spam comes through. He somehow wins that fight. Simple with a quick trade through the wall. Doesn't want to get too aggressive. He's waiting for Zeus to come over and help out, but Zeus is very low HP. 2 on 2. Space Soldiers trying to hold the post plant. Coming around the smoke is Simple. Being creative, not too aggressive, and there it is. They're not expecting that whatsoever, but the op comes out from Engine, and Zeus spamming the corner, waiting for the peek. The bomb is not planted for Engine, but there's no kit on Zeus. The skill has to come out quick and actually misses the opportunity, but gets the follow-up. And I think he's done it. I think he's got it.
Just enough time left over. I mean, in Zeus's mind, he's got to stick that. He knows he has a 10-second defuse. He's got to come up for this fight right away.
Yep.
Engine's of the mindset that he doesn't know if he has a kit. He's got to, go for that peak, and that's a tough situation to be in.
It looks silly when he gets into that corner because there's nowhere for Engine to go, but he had to get aggressive to try and get part of the way towards the bomb just because it's not planted for him whatsoever. Either way, much like the first map, NaVi comes out hot and Space Soldiers get just enough rounds to, you know, some glimmer of hope going into the second half. We'll see how it goes for him. We'll see if they can get a comeback going in the second half. Stay tuned.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
NaVi with the commanding lead heading into the second half. They're going to be on the terror side of Mirage. It's 11-4. They're one map up and one half away from taking this opening relegation series against Space Soldiers. They've flown all this way, Launders. They might as well make it a good series.
It's a long trip back, I mean, for both of them, for sure.
Yeah, they're going to Atlanta after this.
Yeah, I mean, NaVi hang out here, so, I mean, Space Soldiers have definitely, I think, more to work for. But at the same time, the game's going as expected, isn't it?
It really is so far. I mean, even when we saw the maps, you knew it was just going to be a tough series. So, got a decoy thrown onto A ramp pretty deep into it. There's some smokes coming out, block off stairwell. There's 3 players here. Major at triple box. Calyx gets taken down. Major with 1 kill and a second. That's a great peek. Oh, and a third. He's doing a simple impression, and it's beautiful. 3 on 2. Bomb not planted quite yet. Edward's going to get the USP. They do have 1 coming around to CT spawn they've got to worry about. Edward knows it, and he's dropped by it. It's just simple, and what's he got in store for us?
I mean, he's hitting shots. He's making plays this game. This is definitely a POV demo I'd go back and watch. Major today, even though he's got, even though this team has only got 4 rounds here, he's done some cool stuff.
Well, simple being patient, waiting for anyone to peek. He's only got a Glock. He'd love to find a USP. I don't think there's one nearby. I think the closest one is in closet. There's an initial goosh onto Paz, but he can't complete the kill. 2 players there. Xanterra's peeking with him as well. So pistol round to Space Soldiers. You mentioned in the first half, it's always good if you want to have it up, so you got to at least split the pistols, right?
Yeah.
Those are sick kills from
dirty.
Major. That is a beautiful sequence. And a tough spot as well.
Yeah, that triple spot.
Yeah.
Just constantly compromised.
it's quite. It always feels like you're so secure in that position, and then you start getting spammed through a corner, and you just have no idea where to go. Thankfully, against Glocks that time, less to worry about. The Deagles can be dangerous on this map, especially in Simple's hands. Spam coming through as well. Major taking damage down to 55 HP. We were joking about this in earlier today. If NaVi were to lose and get relegated down to Mountain Dew League, it'd be NaVi, Virtus Pro, and Gambit would all be down there.
It'd be insane.
It'd be a great season for FDL, wouldn't it?
Be great for Mountain Dew, yeah. That'd be awesome. I mean, I'd definitely be watching.
Well, clean up for Space Soldiers. 3 quick kills come out for those M4s. It's just Zeus and Simple remaining. Trying to do any economic damage they can. They've got a couple tags with these Deagles. Haven't been able to clean anything up. Haven't been able to finish off any of these frags. Paz is still playing aggressively in window room.
It's tough. I mean, Deagles are at that territory where they really can't take out of your buy for the next round. I mean, it's like it's cost more than half armor, most of a nade set. But it just feels so damn good to hit the 1 Deag, and it's just not Counter-Strike without them, Moses.
It's not Counter-Strike without the possibility of a 1 Deag.
And that's why you cannot equip the revolver, which you just co-signed, right?
What's that?
That you cannot equip a revolver.
I'm cool with equipping the revolver.
Well, because the loadout situation is the only problem, right?
Yeah, but I'm so bad with the Deagle, I think I might just make the switch. You never,
That's pathetic.
The amount, I've never been good with the Deagle in any version of Counter-Strike except Source, because Source Deagles were just so strong. But
sounds like a you problem, but
it
does.
Sound like
a good
it really
solution.
is a me problem. I agree with that entirely. But I figure I can't do any worse with the revolver, so.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's tough times out there.
Is this really former pro player Moses?
Listen, I just use the P250. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable in my P250 favoritism.
That's a good gun. Bang for its buck.
Pop flash peek towards a ramp. A lot of footsteps being heard. Just Glocks and the 1 Deagle on Simple.
See, like last round they spent all that money on Deagles, and now they're not willing to spend anything here. Oh, wow. And you know, that's a bunch of SMG kills that are just funneled into Space Soldiers without any deaths. And it's like maybe they should have at least bought a flash. You know, try to do something with a flash. $200 for a flash. And you know, one of my favorite strats that I took from Fallen was just, it's like there's one good angle that you could jump throw a flash over A ramp as 4 people run out of Palace, and you're really close to the bomb plant zone. Sometimes people are playing in CT or just anti-eco on A site, and you get a plant off, and that's so much money for everybody.
Yeah, not the worst idea. The other benefit is Simple has no nades. He has an AK-47, so he doesn't have to think about throwing anything, so he can just go take fights. Edward's going to run out backwards towards Catwalk, trying to make his way up, but Paz sees right over that smoke. That's tough. I think that might be like the only position you can actually peer over that smoke from. So Edward thought he was going to have smooth sailing and get stopped in his tracks. Sailing reference and a train reference all in one go.
I wish you did cars, and then you can do planes, trains, and automobiles.
Underrated movie. Movie was great. Running out of utility is NaVi, so as the smoke clears, there's still 5 Molotovs on the Space Soldier side. That's going to be tough to deal with if they try and make any hit. Seems like a lot of the plan in this round for NaVi was Edward getting up Catwalk or having some kind of success, and they don't really have too many options now that he's fallen. Gonna have to be some heads-up duels won by the NaVi side, as Space Soldiers have a 4-player lean over towards A.
Yeah, it's grips on pretty tight, and they get that opening frag. Puts a ton of pressure on our sandwich player, who has no longer any connector support to help him out. And he's going to have Electronic running over him. He's got to pick between one of 2 angles, looking across or looking up, and he chose incorrectly. Now Calyx also gets flushed out of his location, and Zenteris is here behind a smoke waiting for rotation, and does have a kill, however, and spots the bomb.
Oh, that is a defensive collapse and a half. Although 20 seconds left. No more utility for NaVi. They've got to try and get this plant down, but they know there's 1 player in CT spawn. 15 seconds. 1 player in connector is going to try and come up, but Xantares kills him. That might just seal the round. A follow-up, and he's not going to be able to get the 3rd, but there's the peak for Major from CT spawn. Major and Xantares hold off what would have been a disaster for that defense.
The rifle's efficiency there. I mean, he was wasting no time with his mouse movement. He was only using a couple of bullets per kill. Instantly on this peak, headshot. Next kill, instant. Doesn't shoot more than he needs to, and then, does damage to the last player as well. Just make sure they win that.
I couldn't believe Navi even brought themselves back into that round so cleanly. That was perfect. The Molotov throw, then the peek from towards ticket booth, and then the peek from the simple on top of the balcony. That was perfectly timed. Here comes this is kind of what you're talking about. Invest just a little bit into utility to give yourself a chance to get into the bomb site. See if anything cool can happen. There's the bomb down, rotations on the way, smokes are in place, and Calyx is alone with 20 HP. His teammate runs through the smoke and gets taken down. Paz still fighting. There he goes to Simple. Perhaps now Space Soldiers need to be a bit more passive, and this bomb could get planted, but that one player, is the smoke going to last long enough? No. They've got to swing, they've got to get this kill, but the pop flash prevents that from happening. There's Major, 3 kills in succession, and a 9th for Space Soldiers.
Oh, that's good stuff. They're all the way turned up now. I mean, this is a little bit different than Inferno. We've got a much closer scoreline already in this half, and much cleaner rounds overall. So it seems like there's actually an opportunity here for maybe Space Soldiers to win Mirage.
Yeah, they feel it feels like they're a lot more comfortable and confident. Remember, I mean, this also was their map pick than they did on Inferno, that CT side. So it's good to see some nice pop flashes, some nice peaks. A couple good sequences there, so they've got themselves a chance to take it to a 3rd. Simple at 23 kills.
So this begs the question, is Donair better than shawarma plates?
Is what?
Donair. Have you ever had that?
Oh yeah, the kebab.
Yeah, it's like the Turkish version of a shawarma plate, basically.
I am a big fan of shawarma.
Yeah. We all are. That's like the 2nd best esports food behind Korean barbecue, I think.
Oh, Korean barbecue is just so good. We should find a place here in New York.
This is how it happens. Yeah, first thing I did when we went to China was eat Korean barbecue. WSG. It's like, come on, guys, we're literally in China.
Yeah, at least go for the hot pot.
That's true. We're in New York. We got to find a hot dog stand. Maybe we can end up like Trace at the hotel, yakking it.
Just pulling a Janji all over the place. Good opening kill from Major onto Simple. He's going to also have his teammate follow that up. So 2 quick kills, 2 just straight up duels lost by Navi. Zeus going to try and do more. He picks up the op. He's going to come through the smoke as well. He's trying to make his way out, and Xantair spots it out. Beautiful play from him. Shoulder peeking until he knows exactly what's happening, and then committing to an advantageous fight.
Xanarchy right now.
Navi really, I felt like out of that timeout, they just said, you know what, let's loosen the strings on everyone. Everyone go take a fight where you want to, and they all lost it.
Hey, not that loose. Let's tighten the strings back up a little bit. You guys getting too crazy right now.
1 versus 4 for Edward.
They're all out of tune. And, Edward's prerogative at the moment is
get some kills,
get some kills.
Get a plant.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you have Paz. I think that's Paz who's in the A-halls. He's just like the insurance policy, right?
Wow. I don't even know how you timed that grenade, but that's beautiful.
Calyx must have heard it over in halls. He said he's coming A-ramp, and I just threw the nade. Regardless, it's about to be all evened up, Launders.
Oof.
About to have a tie ball game here.
Yeah. It's been 11-11. Space Soldiers will be the one making a wish. That was some Sadokist tier casting.
Oh, God bless your heart.
It's big, hungry, and I'm snacks.
I have this like fantasy that line sounds so epic in all the highlights and everything, but it would have been so great if like we could go back in history and just as soon as he starts to say that, like halfway through the sentence, Snacks just takes just gets killed, and just like that would just be like, what do you do from there? Do you finish the thought?
Oh man, I'm glad we don't live in that alternate reality.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best highlights we have in professional CS:GO. One of the best rounds, that's for sure. Flashbangs out. They're going to come right through this smoke. Follow-up flashbangs. Oh, in sequence. They're trying to do their best to keep them all blind, but Major spraying down through the smoke. Holds him back initially. Paz is going to have a quick flank, but it might not even be needed because I think Xantair's easily going to hold this line. And now Paz, he's shooting from the stairwell. That makes things confusing, and Edward is going to burn.
There it is, all tied up. Clean round as well. The B-Rush gets shut down. That's always a threat. I mean, until that round's over, you look at it and you think, okay, well, maybe Navi actually pull out this eco, but nothing drastic happens. The full buy is now in play. Molotovs for everybody, which kind of tops off that full buy, makes you feel really comfortable about what your team has. And Flamey's the only one without grenades, and that's not a big deal, I don't think.
No, not a huge deal. I mean, yeah, especially because he's all alone. Like, he's just going to lurk up A. He wants to find a timing. He's looking for a duel here. He wants to peek up into the bomb site, but waiting to see if anyone's going to give him anything for the moment. He knows pretty soon as well the pressure from NaVi in middle and the mid control on the T side is going to pretty much isolate the one defender at that A bomb site, and that's when he's going to start taking the fight. Simple in mid, protected by smokes.
They're kind of well set up here. I'm not sure who that is on top of the balcony, but it's going to be hard for an A-ramp player to get past that point.
Look at the emphasis on the A-bomb site from Space Soldiers. They don't want to give that up whatsoever. 4 players here and even Major on Catwalk. There's a good shot by the AWP. Major's going to find an easy kill getting aggressive. Can he get any follow-up? No, it's Simple. Now working his way up Catwalk. Flamey's pouncing as well right now. He got Calyx down very low, and that kill from Simple might open things up. They've retreated out of the A-bomb site, and Flamey can pin him back towards CT spawn. Looking for more. They now know at least 2 players at A, and Zeus can't win that fight on Paz. And now they stream out. Now they try and get better positioning over towards triple, and Flamey knows it. Bomb is still coming here. 30 seconds left on the clock. Flamey. I don't think he's aware this is happening, or maybe he is. Here's going to come the peek from balcony into the site. That's an easy kill from Simple. 20 seconds left. It's all on this. That one player in CT spawn can still stop the plant, though. No, he can't. Flamey takes him down from an off angle. Paz. Flamey's burning. Actually, this isn't working out too well, and he's going to win it. 12-11. Flamey and Simple with an incredible round.
My God, that huge 2vx. I mean, I hate to first bring up a negative from Space Soldiers after seeing that, because there's so many cool plays that they had there. But Simple, after killing Major, catches the rotation, and this is a really big deal because the only reason anybody shifts to the right side of the map is because Major died. He was the only person at B, as we talked about how heavy they were at A, and he had the opportunity after getting that first kill to just cool off and go back in the site, but instead decided to push off of Cat. And once he died, his teammates got a little panicked about the opportunity for the other team to go B.
The question is that going to be the win that NaVi needs to just kind of get back into this game? Have they kind of stopped that momentum? When Flamey tries to make a play, picks up the speed and tries to come out Palace early on in the round, but he's punished. Zeus almost catches off a player over towards the B bomb site. That's Major inside the site with an AWP, and he's trying to find the angle, and Zeus is putting a lot of pressure onto this, and the timing has worked out in his favor a couple times. And Major feels really uncomfortable. He's backed off all the way towards Market.
Whoa.
Somehow Zeus is still alive, I'm not going to lie.
He's really dancing with the devil right now, isn't he?
A couple times. But things seem to have calmed down.
Yeah. And he isn't actually advanced his position, but they're scared of him, so.
Well, now jumping down, you can pin him into Market even further. It's a position they retreated to. There's the peek. Edward finds Xantares. Major's still here with the op, though. They can get this bomb planted. It's a 3-on-3. Actually, a 2-on-3 at the B bomb site for quite some time. That third NaVi player, Electronic, coming back from balcony from Palace. They know that as well. They should pick up this pace here, but it doesn't matter. Edward's got the angle. He thins out the herd. He even gets a second one onto Engine, and Major with the op hasn't committed to the retake, and he's not even going to get away. That's all 5 kills for Edward. A brilliant ace to give him 13. Not only that, but he's really starting to punish the economy.
Wonderful stuff. Mastering the B side on both halves.
This is Edward that we haven't seen for some time. Like Edward, I mean, all of NaVi outside of Simple, it felt had a kind of a quiet 2017. But Edward, when he's on point, one of the older players as well, most experienced, he's just so smart in his positioning that it has such a huge impact.
I think he's found like a really good balance with just hair on his head and beard at this point too. I kind of like the levels on both. I think he's in a good place.
Yeah, I think he has found a really good situation to be with for that one.
It matters. I mean, you're laughing, but I think it says a lot about you to have a good facial to hair ratio. I mean, with you, it's not much of a choice, but I was not leading into that. I'm not fishing at all. You know, it's just this glaring thing that just jumps out at you in a good way. It's part of your brand.
Yeah, a good way. You're a shining star, Launders.
Thank you. Very shiny star.
Well, 2 players in the A bomb site, and aggression up mid for Space Soldiers. So tired of sitting back on their heels. They want to go get the information, and they've got it. Pez is all the way up mid, knows there's no one here whatsoever. Here comes the attack. One player just sneaking up a ramp initially. It's a contact play. Engine peeks out. Should be a Molotov underneath there, but there's not. It's on top of the balcony, and flashbangs are all over the place. It's a 4-on-4, and here comes Calyx, swings out wide, he's burning, and Zeus somehow finds a pocket that's not on fire. But Paz, this is so well timed, they're all blind, no one's looking, he's got him lined up. The spray, it's not perfect, and he gets punished. But at least he buys time for Major to get into the action. 2 quick headshots from him, and Simple now in a 1-on-2. There's the peek, he sees the shadow at the last second. It was a double peek from Space Soldiers, and they respond. They barely hold on.
Yeah, they barely fall on their feet there. That was very close, and it comes down to a couple of kills, and it's kind of just, you know, it's a bare-knuckle fist fight. Everybody knows exactly where the other person is. It's really just about reactions and flicks in that moment. Who's got the best rifle efficiency? Once that A hit comes out, they're all just fighting from Tetris.
Zeus came out of Palace pretty late, but it felt like NaVi got so bottleneck at the top of that A ramp. They did such a good job of pinning him down there. I think there were 3 or 4 players, and there wasn't a whole lot of options as long as those players survived in underneath balcony. And I think the main problem was it took such a long time for NaVi to get a Molotov in that area.
And it was good. It was like a kind of the utility was just really good too. Like it just acted as kind of a lasso as they like flashed them all and then threw the Molotov down. There's a lot of value in those grenades.
A lot of value in that op shot as well. It takes out the AK-47, now recovered by Zeus, who Major follows up with a second. So one of the rifles that NaVi brought into this round, they had an AK and an op and 3 pistols. The AK is lost. Simple hasn't been able to find anything in mid. He was hoping someone would peek, someone would challenge him.
Certainly, Flamey saw someone cross the screen, but is worried about other actors on the A site, and there he is. Finds 2 for his team. I think he might be able to call to his team that there's 3 people around A, but that might not tell you much.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't, and Simple still hasn't been able to get himself involved, taking 1 shot with that AWP, so the investment is not paying off at the moment. I think now it's going to be, you know, goal number 1, save these rifles perhaps, or make a late play for this B bomb site when the smoke fades. If Simple gets this kill, but he doesn't, Major's ready for it.
Yeah.
It's always a gamble who sees who first, isn't it, in that scenario?
It really is, yeah. It might have to do with the smoke cycle or reactions and stuff like that, but some people might say, like, oh, Simple, why does he die there? Why doesn't he just go save? Well, it's because there's 5 players left. They don't know what's being pushed. They need to try to delay for time, and sometimes that means taking a fight early. So, you know, he didn't realize that he could have run through B apps and probably stayed alive with Edward.
Well, you also, I mean, with the time left, I think they wanted to make one last attempt at a play. Yeah, because if you can get, like, one of those kills and maybe you try it out, you get the bomb plant. Don't know. Not necessarily always a perfect answer in those scenarios, but either way, great shots from Major. Big round for him finding the opening kill. Zeus picks up the AK. Doesn't last long in his hands, though, as Major gets that follow-up. Here we are to the next round. Edward's going to swing out wide. He's already gotten into a duel with 1 player in the window. Obviously, the only rifle, the only AK-47 saved from last round. Pistols surround it for NaVi.
Now, the cool thing about T-side is that even when you only have 1 or 2 guns, I mean, sometimes getting that opening kill can mean winning the round. So having your rifle up front when you hit something, if that guy gets his kill, wins his duel, which doesn't necessarily have a high percentage of doing, but if he does, you know, everyone could just go and pick up guns after that.
Yeah, and I mean, also, you never know, that 1 kill could open like a seam in the defense where the pistols can really gain some ground and really get dangerous and get close up. But so far, these past 2 rounds, that's kind of the tactic they've employed. Obviously with the saved AK-47 and previously just buying the AK and the AWP, it hasn't worked out for either of them. Space Soldiers, his defense, we mentioned it earlier, has looked much, much better than it did on Inferno. Much more comfortable on this map. Now he gets caught out. The timing peak from Calyx underneath balcony. He gets 3 quick kills, and
wow.
Space Soldiers are going to take their first lead of this map.
Yeah, and
of the series.
Of the series, and what a time to do it. 14-13. Everyone's really starting to turn up. Xantaris, Calyx, and Major, who actually has 29 kills, leading the server in frags.
Not only that, but they forced another tactical timeout from NaVi. We've got to talk things over because they seem stumped on this T side.
Yeah, that is an interesting point. I mean, it's even hard to. What would you say you could kind of pit it to if there was one thing about the T side that they
I feel like we haven't really seen a whole lot of like an actual, mid control into a split somewhere. I think a couple times we've seen it is like, that one round Edward tried to get like aggressive really, really quickly up catwalk. And he got picked off, but like we haven't seen them get like map control with like 3 players and then, come up connector and help split towards the A site. Or get anyone in window room or ladder room. That's kind of been ignored, it feels.
Yeah.
It almost feels like you're relying on like Flamey or Electronic have lurked somewhere over towards the Callus, and they just try and find that kill. Well, look at this. Contact played through the smoke, and they find exactly what they want because Engine's caught out in the open, and Calyx, his teammates die so quick, he's just got to take a fight. If they could stop this plant, that would be huge, but a timely flashbang keeps Xanter's back.
Gotta say, wasn't a fan of the call. Thought it wasn't going to work out as well as it did, but wow. I'm kind of surprised. I think maybe they've tried to attack A, but more slowly and more methodically, and maybe the thought process here was, let's change the tempo up, hit the site that we want to, but do it at a different speed, and maybe that'll catch Space Soldiers off guard, who are expecting only a fight to happen 20 to 30 seconds in the round.
It happened perfectly. I mean, the Space Soldiers wasn't prepared for the timing. I'm not sure if some players had nades out. Like I said, Engine was caught out in the open. Calyx, I think, was not necessarily slow. I don't know if there's like a proper way to react, but
Special.
He was underneath the balcony and he was just hiding. I think the timing just caught him off guard, so he couldn't fight with his teammates.
What's so funny?
Nothing. Well, 14-14 all tied up. That lead was short-lived.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully relish the moment. But they bounced. They're actually coming back here with the double up setup. Yeah, double up setup. So it's an interesting response. I mean, that's kind of a cool thing you can do when you lose a round, is to totally change it up by, introducing what's a brand new setup by standing in the same spots but having different weapons. This makes it a lot harder for the T's to. First of all, they've got to find out that you have a double op setup, which can result in a free kill, and that might be all they need at this point, with 2 rounds to go.
It's kind of cool as well because, sometimes this late in the game, you're worried about the economy if you invest in 2 ops, but they have pretty decent money behind this buy, so it's not going to deplete them for that last round. Smokes, flashbangs raining over, not all of them making it all the way through. Here's one of those ops. They've just masked this as a B hit. They've pulled a rotation. They're starting to peel this defense apart. It's starting to shift. There's no action towards the B bomb site, though, and Edward, he thought he had one, but he gets picked off, and now Major chiming in. NaVi tries something sneaky, and it gets incredibly shut down. No progress made. Bomb is lost. Flamey and Zeus have got to do something up catwalk. But at this range, this is where those double ops are really going to shine. Major's been solid with it over towards the B bomb site and continues that here. He's got his 3rd kill on the board. And Space Soldiers is going to get to 15. They've guaranteed themselves overtime.
Yeah, I mean we're in territory of maybe you could try to save, but he's been spotted. He's at mid, and he realized he's got a bunch of fights ahead of him to leave. So
I think that was kind of it's a cool idea in theory, but I'm not sure that tactic. So I think what they would try to do is throw the smokes to make it look like a B hit, and then some of the bodies run back towards mid and try and go up catwalk, because those smokes isolate the catwalk player and keep him pushed out towards mid. And then you kind of like have a split B bomb site. As those smokes fade, those catwalk players can apply the pressure as well, hopefully with 1 pick. But I think in like application, it's a very difficult tactic to actually pull off.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, they also, I think, tried to smoke window from BFs as well, so I'm not sure if they're going to walk underpass, try to fake it or not, but the ops got right in the way as they try to sell the fake. Major, though, he's already, he's
having a
at,
great
what,
game,
33 frags already in relegation?
He's been phenomenal
Regulation.
with his AWP.
Relegation.
Regulation
and
of this relegation
yeah.
match.
Yeah.
Nice nade spam combo from Xanter's, giving him a man advantage to force this into a 3rd map. It did not look likely. The first half started out again so dominant for NaVi. This time on Mirage, it's the offense that's failing them. Electronic with the kill on the Major, can't get a second. He's brought Xanter's down to about half HP. The cleanup from Simple. It's a 3-on-3. Paz is here, though. He gets out, he finds 1 kill. He's got to try and shore up this bomb site. Doesn't know where anyone else is. Spots one out in dark. Not going to happen. Zeus straight up wins it. 1 Molotov on the T side, and an AWP is holding this angle. How do they want to cross here? They don't. Zeus walks right into it. It's all on Flamey to force overtime, or do we go to a third map? Space Soldiers have fought their way back into this.
Oh, this is tense. It's a winnable spot. I mean, he's going to be able to at least have one fair duel if that op doesn't catch him off guard, and there's so much time left that he's got options as well. He's able to cross. I don't know if he made noise. Now, as he pushes into the kitchen, he finds that first frag. Great reaction. I don't think he spotted the second player who was there. No, he's on high alert, and Calix shoots him in the back of the head. 16-14 for Space Soldiers map 3. Who would have thunk it?
Oh my God, Flamey just got juked. He had the full clear and just didn't spot that last player. A nice effort though. 16-14, what a comeback from Space Soldiers in this game. That defense was beautiful, and NaVi could never quite figure it out.
Sat behind the cash register, and they got the money shot.
You were a beautiful man. Great game from Major, obviously, is the big one. And then we'll head down to the analyst desk, hear who they think had a good game. Take it away, boys.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Moses. And what a good game it was indeed. Space Soldiers, who I think many of us thought would end up going out here in 0-2 fashion against a team like NaVi, have come back and have taken control of the second map in this series, and it went all the way to 30 rounds to decide it.
Of course it did. Every Mirage match we've had thus far has gone that far, so why not? Just keep on bringing it around. Like, it seems to be a curse for this studio, I guess, that every Mirage match must go to the 30th round, or at least like 28. Like, we're never going beyond. We've never had really like some solid blowout games. We anticipated you had said like 16-7. I'd said somewhere in the same range, 69 for NaVi. But Space Soldiers looked great. I mean, they really did. Well, at the same point in time, it is kind of a weak map for NaVi in general. It's a map they don't usually play.
Yeah, I mean, Mirage is, once again, I call it kind of the new Dust 2, just because everybody's comfortable on Mirage these days. And when you go up against Space Soldiers, who are extremely comfortable, and NaVi, as this new core lineup, only playing it a few times as a team, Space Soldiers ends up taking advantage of that. It did get really close down to the wire with that 1v1 Calix versus Flamey at the end. But I think, in general, that whole game came down to the performance of Major and Xantar really stepping up for their team right there.
Well, I mean, let's just talk about Major right off the bat, because he's the one who had the big performance here. 118 ADR, over 30 kills easily. Just a massive, massive performance from him. And we saw after that last game how he was looking, just pure fury in his voice.
Yeah.
When he was sitting back there discussing after the first map. He wanted to come back and win on this second map. And, I mean, he really proved himself.
I mean, he looked great, but there was also some weakness from some of the players from NaVi. Like we pointed out, Electronic was having a hard time finishing off his kills. He was sitting at one point like 12, 10, and 21. Like, 10 assists is great because he's putting in good damage, but he's just really struggling. And how many times did he drop like 70 ADR in a round and then no one dies? So you got to start looking at the fact, like, yes, his damage was good, but it just wasn't having as much of an impact as he needed
that's
to.
a big thing, right? You can get the assist, but once again, even a person left with 1 HP alive is able to win the round for the team, right? So a rough game there for Electronic, going 12, 10, and
whatever it ended up being
20
at
deaths
the
or something. But at the end of the day, if he can turn that around, I mean, like, if he himself was having a better game, let's say, that one player just going for that positive rush, I could have seen NaVi finish that out. Unfortunately, they needed Electronic to, step up a little bit more, and he was unable to convert on some of those kills, and I really feel that's what costed NaVi that match.
I mean, and looking at it like this, like we had said, this wasn't a strong map for NaVi. Space Soldiers probably played Mirage more at a global challenge than NaVi's played it in the last couple of months.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's been like, I think they've played it in 3 months, it's like twice. It went 1-1, so it's not really a map they favor.
Do you think there was a better choice maybe that NaVi could have let go through it back during the map veto phase that could have avoided this issue? Or do you think that they were kind of locked in it with the way that the vetoes ended up going?
It's like we talked about early, the overconfidence. Like overconfidence in that first map, it was overconfidence likely in the veto stage. Like, Space Soldiers is a good team, and I don't think they don't think that, but it's more like we're NaVi. We have a very big map pool. We have some of the greatest individually skilled players in the world.
Yeah.
We'll play them on any map and we'll win.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like through that veto process, I mean, NaVi was more so just thinking about what maps they didn't want to play rather than what Space Soldiers were going to play. And I mean, that's the way ban plans go sometimes, in the sense that you just want to play to whatever you're comfortable on. You don't really care about, the other team or anything or what their strengths are. You just want to play what you're down for.
Offensive versus defensive banning. It's like defensive banning is banning out maps that, you go get the idea.
I just cut the explanation short for the people that you brought it up now.
The two. So basically, one of them would be the idea that you're banning out maps that you aren't good at, the other being that you ban maps that your opponent's good at.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
I would say, defensive banning is banning the maps your opponent is good at. Offensive banning is banning the maps you're not good at yourselves.
Okay.
But you could make the argument for both directions.
Yeah, you could. It's very true.
The terminology doesn't apply.
Oh man, but nonetheless, I mean, it was still a good match overall. I mean, 16-14 nail biter at the end of the day.
And we've got one more map coming up, and that is going to be on train. It will go the distance to decide who gets to move forward here in the relegation bracket for the ESL Pro League. But before we go to a break, before our next match, we do want to remind you guys to be sure to go ahead and check out the ROG Arena at your local Microsoft store. They're available across the globe, and there's plenty of tournaments to be found at them. If you're interested in finding out more, you can go ahead over to Microsoft.com/ROG Arena to be able to find out more on that. Last map, though, in this series is coming up right after this, so stick with us.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.